Hi everyone, my name is Aaron and welcome back to my channel. Last week we got a fascinating peek into the world of Scientology through a Facebook post made by someone named Joy Villa. Joy is a Scientology celebrity of somewhat minor nature. I don't know if you would consider Joy a real celebrity. She's only famous for wearing kind of scandalous or not even like really in-your-face controversial dresses to the Grammy Awards. At first the controversy was just the fact that she was basically going to the Grammys naked, and then the controversy it became controversial is she would go to the Grammys in these ridiculously over-the-top Trump dresses. Joy is also one of these Scientology celebrity shills that are being used to try to push this agenda or narrative that you can be a Scientologist and also be a Christian. Actually, a little interesting side note, Mike Rinder has written about the fact that the IRS literally told Scientology this would make you unqualified for tax exemption. And Scientology responded like, oh, no, we fully expect Scientologists to only be Scientologists and nothing else and just be solely dedicated to Scientology. So the fact that Scientology is constantly trying to pretend that it is something that it is not causes it to constantly shoot itself in the foot because of its inconsistencies, because of all this dishonesty. Oh, here's an interesting one. Her Choose Life dress. So this just goes along with her theme of trying to pretend to be a conservative Christian, a pro-lifer, and oh my God, talk about hypocrisy. She's a hardcore Scientologist. Scientologists are not pro-life by any stretch of the imagination, quite the opposite actually. I don't do partisan politics on this channel, so I'm not making an argument one way or the other. But what I am saying is Scientologists are not pro-life. So the Sea Org base here where I live in Clearwater, the Flagland base, it has maybe 1,500, at the absolute most 2,000 staff, but I don't think it has that much. Well, in the Sea organization, you're not allowed to have kids. If you get pregnant, you have to get an abortion. And remember, these Sea Org members is what Scientology describes as its clergy. Will Sea Org members here at the base who are married get pregnant so often that Scientology has to run a regular shuttle to bring its clergy members to one of the local abortion clinics. And a few years ago, it got so bad, they were shuttling so many of their own clergy members to the clinic for abortions that they had to start bringing them to separate clinics around Pinellas County because they were getting a really bad reputation for bringing so many people to the same clinic repeatedly. If you claim to belong to a religion who shuttles its clergy members to the clinic weekly for abortions, you are not pro-life. Anyway, so Joy is one of the people they used to push this agenda. And once she got onto the radar of the Trump administration because of these dresses that she was wearing, she then did a bunch of other things to just further ingratiate herself with the administration. And while that administration was still in power, you didn't hear Joy Villa talking that much about Scientology. She just couldn't stop talking about what a wonderful Christian that she was. And she sort of pretended like Scientology wasn't really, it was just something she studied or whatever. But, you know, now that there's a new administration in power, she's abandoned all of that and she's gone full hog back into the world of Scientology because that's where she's really making her money. All right, so anyway, Joy did give us this fantastic peek into the wild world of Scientology, peek into the mind and into the life of a Scientologist, and you're going to see from this post just how much of a Scientologist she really is. But just for giggles, here's Joy on a poster hawking e-meters for the Church of Scientology. Now, I've done a few videos in the past called How to Speak Scientologese, and those videos were a lot of fun because Scientology has such a large and I guess complicated nomenclature, and I just figured it would be fun to do these videos where you learn how to use the words correctly. And the idea was that, like, if you had any friends or family members who somehow got into Scientology and you wanted to sort of talk to them about it, maybe try to help them open their eyes and coax them out of it, that the point I was making in these videos is that if you actually use these words and use them correctly, it will actually give you a lot of credibility in the minds of the Scientologist that you're trying to talk to. And it was also a way to have a little fun with these words and showing people how to use them in sentences and stuff. So I was thinking this post that Joy did is so full of Scientologese that we might as well consider this the next chapter in How to Speak Scientologese featuring Joy Villa. So this was a post that Joy put up in a Scientology Facebook group. I guess she's recently divorced. She last I knew she was married to Thorsten von Overgaard. That looked like a marriage made in heaven. But I guess it wasn't all that it was made out to be. So Joy's on the market, and she put a post up on Facebook letting the Scientology world know she's ready for a boyfriend. So pick a number and get in line, fellas. I'm gonna do a mixture of reading and defining as we go. Here's what she says. She starts in heavy right from the first sentence. Hello everyone, I'm doing my 2D non-E. 2D non-E, right from the beginning. 2D refers to the second dynamic. In Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard says life is divided up into 8 dynamics, and everyone is trying to survive on each one of these dynamics. The first dynamic is yourself. The second dynamic is sex and family. The third dynamic is any group you're a part of. The fourth dynamic is all humankind. The fifth dynamic is all plant and animal life. The sixth dynamic is just everything in the physical universe. The seventh dynamic is supposed to be spirits and spirituality. And the eighth dynamic is supposed to be infinity or God. Now, this eighth dynamic is one of the ways Scientology tries to explain, justify, or lie about the fact that they believe in God. When in fact, the eighth dynamic is simply an acknowledgement that people believe in God. Scientology actually says we don't get into the eighth dynamic, so they sort of let themselves off the hook there. But anyway, I'm going to do a video about that whole subject separately at a later time. So 2D is shorthand for the second dynamic, and Scientologists will commonly use the word 2D in substitution for boyfriend or girlfriend. So whereas you might go, this is my boyfriend, a Scientologist might literally say, this is my 2D. She uses the word non-E. Non-E is short for non-existence. And non-existence is one of what Hubbard called the conditions of existence. The conditions, formulas, the conditions of existence. He wrote up formulas for every one of these various conditions of existence. The condition of non-E or non-existence specifically is the condition that someone is supposed to be in when they're brand new to a job in an organization, or when they've been on a job for a long time, but their production is totally crashed and it's almost as if they don't really exist. Actually, let me read you the description of this straight from Scientology's ethics book, which I happen to have a copy of here. Every new appointee to a post begins in non-existence, whether obtained by new appointment, promotion, or demotion. He is usually very, very aware of his own new status, or even what his former status was. But in actual fact, he is the only one who is aware of it. Everyone else in the organization, other than, the personnel officer who put him on the new post, are utterly unaware of what his new post or his new status is. I'm paraphrasing some of this. Therefore, he begins in a state of non-existence. And if he does not begin with the non-existence formula as his guide, he will be using the wrong condition and he will have all kinds of trouble. So Hubbard then gives 4 steps. The formula for the condition of non-existence is 4 steps. The first step is find a calm line. Of course, there's more Scientology jargon in the first step. Find a calm line, I'm just going to do super simple explanation here, means find a person. Find someone that you can introduce yourself to. People who know better could take slight issue with that definition, but that's what we're going to go with for now. Step 2, make yourself known. Step 3, discover what is needed or wanted. Step 4, do, produce, and or present it. Okay, so this is not rocket science. It's basically introduce yourself to people. Tell them who you are. Ask them what they need from you in order to have an ideal, optimum working relationship. And then follow through on the things, follow through on the things they have said they need from you, and do those things accurately and precisely. This is kind of common sense stuff. But you'll notice this is also geared towards an actual organization or a company or a job. How do you do non-E on the 2D? There's a whole little thing in Scientology where Scientologists go through, I don't know, you'd call it sort of a program or an exercise or a drill, where you take these conditions formulas and you apply them to each one of your dynamics. If these are the conditions and the steps that I follow to be successful at work, let me figure out how to apply these same conditions and formulas to be successful in my relationships. That is exactly what Joy is doing here. In Scientology, this little process is called conditions by dynamics. So Joy is applying non-E to her 2D. She's finding a calm line, which in this case is Facebook and everyone in the Facebook group that she's posting in. And step 2 is make yourself known. So here's what Joy says. Hi everyone, I'm doing my 2D non-E. I am seeking to create a highly effective, ethical, adventurous 2D with an upstat Scientologist who is seeking the same. Upstat simply means very productive and also rich. About me, I am a celebrity artist, #1 Billboard charting singer, best-selling author, toured 35 countries, Class 4 auditor on my internship at Joburg.org. Joburg means Johannesburg. There's a Class 5 Church of Scientology in Johannesburg. I'm clear. I've done Superpower, I've done all 3 of my L's, I've done Cause Resurgence Rundown, I'm an OT Preps completion, I'm a celebrity center into major FSM, Gold Meritorious with the IAS, and now a Vanguard Ideal Org status for Africa. Oh, good God. Do I even try? I'm going to do it real fast, you guys, because I don't have much more patience for this than I'm sure you guys do. A celebrity artist. Could you imagine having to tell someone, I'm a celebrity? If you have to tell someone you're a celebrity, you're not a celebrity. Class 4 auditor. That's fine. I think people, if you're watching this channel, you probably know what a Scientology auditor is. Class 4 is just one of the classes of auditor that can deliver a certain number of grades. Actually, a class 4 auditor can deliver up to grade 4 on Scientology's lower part of the bridge. I'll put little pictures here for that. She says she has achieved Scientology's state of clear. That is quite a coincidence. So has one of my favorite actors, Jason Bateman.
I'm a Scientologist, okay? That's A. Been Thetan free since 2003. Clear as shit.
She's done Superpower. Superpower is a special auditing action that can only be delivered here in Clearwater at the Flag Land Base. It really does not even deserve an explanation, except actually just Google Scientology Superpower. You're going to see a whole bunch of crazy stuff. L. Ron Hubbard says you don't just have 5 senses, you have like 64, 60, 62 senses, whatever it is, I don't remember. Superpower was supposed to be an auditing action that included drills and special machines to hone these 62 senses or whatever it is. And it includes things like oiliness as a sense, or detecting the saline content of your cells as a sense, position in space. Anyway, just Google Scientology Superpower. It will be endlessly entertaining. I've done all 3 L's. Again, an L rundown is just a special auditing rundown that can only be done here at Flag. The only reason Scientologists will tell you they've done their L's is because they're horrendously expensive, and it's a status symbol. There's literally nothing special about having done the L rundowns. The cause Resurgence rundown. That is, again, another special action that you can only do here at Flag that I am not shitting you, is literally running around a pole. I am not shitting you. The cause Resurgence rundown is paying $2,500 for the privilege of running around a circular track in a pitch black room around a lighted pole until you have the realization that you can create energy at will. In other words, you run until you're tired and then you get your second wind. Except people do this for weeks. They're literally paying for what would, in some cases, be punishment or torture. And at the end, they read up a success story about how it has changed their lives. Like the craziness, these people don't think this is crazy. It's all, you can only see how crazy and stupid this stuff is once you're out of Scientology. When you're in it, it seems totally normal and awesome. OT preps, that's just some auditing to get you ready for your OT levels after you've attested to the state of clear. Celebrity Center Int Major FSM. FSM stands for Field Staff Member. A Field Staff Member is just a term for a public Scientologist who makes money by bringing other people into Scientology. You can make, if you bring someone into Scientology, you get a certain amount, you get a certain percentage as a commission for everything that person pays for auditing and training after you bring them in. In other words, as long as you stay in touch with them and are talking to them and helping make sure they keep taking their next step, you could be getting commissions from this person for the rest of their Scientology career. And there are Scientologists who that is just how they make their living. Actually, a lot of these guys don't make their living bringing new people into Scientology because that's quite difficult. What they do is they hunt around like little rats looking for Scientologists who don't have FSMs already, or whose FSM just drifted off or they're not friends anymore. And they'll pick up new prospects. A prospect is the person someone is FSMing. That's the relationship. On one side you have an FSM, on the other side you have a prospect. And so you have these guys, they're like the bottom feeders of Scientology. They're basically just making money off of all of the money other Scientologists are already going to be paying to Scientology anyway. So Joy is patting herself on the back for being a major Celebrity Center International FSM, which means that she specifically brings people to the Celebrity Center International in Los Angeles. Gold Meritorious with the IAS. Well, that means she, let's be honest, what it really means is her ex-husband donated $1 million to the IAS, and so that is Joy's status. Gold Meritorious means $1 million. And Vanguard Ideal Org status for Africa. God, I don't want to get into the whole Ideal Org program. But In a nutshell, the ideal org program is this thing Miscavige came up with to convince Scientologists they all needed to pony up huge amounts of cash to buy massive new buildings for existing churches of Scientology. And he created like 20 different statuses depending on how much money you donate to these orgs. So she's done, I don't know what Vanguard is. If I look it up and I can find out, I'll put it here in the video, but she is a Vanguard ideal org status for Africa. Okay. She continues, I've been a Scientologist for 10 years. It's my life. I've been on mission staff. Okay, so a mission is just a tiny little church of Scientology that is privately owned and can only deliver some Scientology services. I've been on mission staff as a Div 6 executive in Los Angeles. Division 6 is the part of a Scientology organization responsible for bringing in new people. So I've been mission staff as a Div 6 executive in Los Angeles. I've volunteered over 500 hours in Div 6 at Johannesburg org, and I've FSM'd over 100 people into the orgs at CCINT and Flag. Wow. Okay. So that is, by any definition, a highly committed, dedicated, real Scientologist. What that's not is a Christian. She carries on here. She goes, my ideal 2D. Guys, this is a 20-step list of what she wants in an ideal boyfriend or husband. My ideal 2D. Number 1, has the strong intention to clear the planet and is fully trained or is on the route to Class 5 auditor, is or is on the fast track to clear or OT. I'm not going to define clear the planet. I've already done a video on that before. I'll put a link somewhere above my head if you want to watch that video. Fully trained. That's not even a thing in Scientology. There's no such thing as fully trained. You can always get more training. Anyway, number 2, equal respect and admiration for each other. Number 3, we are perfect in our own way for each other. Number 4, we both recognize that we're the one. Number 5, we're best friends. Number 6 is super affectionate and passionate. Number 7, ethically ambitious and ambitiously ethical. That does not mean anything, even in Scientology. Number 8, loves children and the family dynamic. Number 9, is very much into healthy eating and physical fitness as a lifestyle equal to me and doesn't smoke. Number 10, follows the way to happiness. The Way to Happiness is a little book L. Ron Hubbard wrote that I think in his mind was the Scientology version of the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not kill, etc. The booklet is just chock full with revolutionary ideas like brush your teeth and respect your parents. All right. Number 11 is passionate about being successful in everything he does. Number 12, we make each other laugh constantly. 13, super high havingness. Havingness is a word in Scientology that also sometimes serves as a euphemism for being rich. The concept in Scientology is that if you have shabby, crappy things, it's because as a spiritual being, that's all you will allow yourself to have. And that as you get more auditing, you will improve on your ability as a spiritual being to allow yourself to have nice things. And this will result in you earning the money you need to have nice things. But it's not about income, it's about spiritual fitness. So having high havingness means you have a nice car, you dress well, you have a big house, like things like this. Okay, 14. We share stories and experiences and our postulates with one another. A postulate is like a directed decision, like a decision with energy. It's a decision that you want something to happen, but it's like an expectancy that it will happen. It's basically you're putting something there, you're putting it out there in this spiritual, the theta universe as like, this is my goal. And but it's like a directed thing where Scientologists believe the more auditing you get and the higher that you go up the bridge, the more your postulates come true. It's very much like that movie or documentary, not a documentary, it was a movie, like The Secret, where you're, it's like an affirmation thing. You're putting something out there, you're seeing it, and it will come true in the real universe. So postulate is a super, super common and popular word in Scientology. Number 15, makes over $100,000 US a year. She put that there. She put that on Facebook. She put that in writing. She typed that out. My boyfriend, if you want to qualify to be my boyfriend, you have to make $100,000 a year. Does anybody really wonder who donated the $1 million to the IAS? No, nobody really wonders. Okay, number 16. takes pride in becoming a husband and a provider. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. 17. We share adventure, world traveling, and exciting adventures together, but on your dime. Number 18. We share an amazing 3D. He is highly respected and regarded as Upstate in our group. 3D means group. The way this word is used, any group that you're a part of can be referred to a third dynamic or your third dynamics or one of your third dynamics. Baseball team, school, co-workers. In this case, she's talking about Scientology. So we share an amazing 3D. So we're both equally involved, in Scientology. And he, the prospective boyfriend, is highly respected and regarded as Upstate in our group. So again, Upstate, like I said, means highly productive or also wealthy. You've donated a lot of money. But like a Seerg member, for example, is not rich, would not have a lot of money, but would be considered an Upstate in Scientology because of how productive they are. 19, loves cats and other animals. 20, likes my artistic, wild, fun style and tattoos. If this is an adventure you're into, please shoot me an email at joy@joyvilla.com. So I said this really provides like a glimpse into the mind of a Scientologist and the world of Scientology. You can see that her entire approach to relationships is so, I want to say, sober and dry and formal and official, like it's an arrangement. There's no like passion. It's like, if you check these boxes for me, I will let you occupy the same time and space as me. There's no real emotion in it. In fact, there's not even any attraction. There's nothing in here that implies even attraction other than I'm attracted to your money. I'm attracted to your status. I'm attracted to what other people think of you. I mean, it really is kind of sad. Also, this list of things, this is something a lot of Scientologists would agree with. So anyway, she put this up in a group with, I don't know, maybe 4,000 or 5,000 Scientologists from all over the world. And about a week later, she put up an announcement letting everybody know it worked. So here's what she said. I don't have to define a bunch of stuff here too, but she goes, guys, I did it. I got an incredible 2D. Every affluence I have ever attained is from putting my bridge first. Affluence is one of the conditions that I mentioned before. It basically means a strong increase. So if you're running a business and last year for the first quarter you made $10 million and then this year for the first quarter you made $100 million, that would be an affluence. So she goes, every affluence I've ever attained is from putting my bridge first. Bridge obviously means going up Scientology's bridge. In Johannesburg org, South Africa, the last few months, I have been at the org 12 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week on course, getting to class 4 and onto my NED course and internship. NED course is the class 5 auditor course. It stands for New Era Dianetics. But anyway, she seems so fixated on becoming a class 5 auditor, which honestly, it doesn't make any sense for a public to really give a crap about being a class 5 auditor. I put everything else as second to my training. There were massive bull baits with another country shut down of South Africa. She has something miswritten here. Something's wrong. But there were massive bull baits with another country shut down of South Africa, arbitraries arriving on my lines in other aspects, and a training twinship gone awry. Arbitraries is a word that gets used in a special way in Scientology. So the way they use this, an arbitrary would be something that someone is claiming has to be a particular way, particularly a rule, particularly something that's preventing you from doing something, but they're not in fact correct. So they are arbitrarily putting some sort of a precondition on you that's preventing you from doing something else. And they're using their authority to do that, but they're in fact wrong. And it requires someone else to come in and intervene and correct the situation. You'd be surprised how common arbitrary is used as a noun in that way in Scientology. A training twinship gone awry. On some of these auditor training courses, the best way to do them is to partner up with somebody else doing the course and just go through the entire course together. That person's referred to as your twin. But, you know, if that relationship goes south, sometimes you can get screwed and you have to get a new twin who might be way further back behind you, and then you've got to catch them up to you. So I wanted to give up many times. I broke down and felt lost many times, yet I knew the only way out was the way through. So I persisted. The only way out is the way through is a saying that gets applied in Scientology when someone's getting auditing and they're really, really, really not enjoying it. You're not allowed to let somebody get out of an auditing session. So the auditor coaxes them along. Come on now, the way out is the way through. Let's get through this. This is how pre-clears, people that get auditing sessions become very quickly conditioned into knowing that in order to finish an auditing session, you have to pretend to be happy and great and you're loving it, because otherwise you ain't never getting out of that auditing session. So, okay, so she goes, I wanted to give up many times. I broke down and felt lost many times, yet I knew the only way out was the way through, so I persisted. After identifying reasonableness stemming from my own lack of responsibility, I did a danger formula on my 3D and started to out-create the nonsense and noise on my lines. Well, if that isn't a Scientology sentence, I don't know what is. After identifying reasonableness. Reasonableness is a word that has been completely redefined in Scientology. Reasonableness is normally a good word. In Scientology, it's a bad word. It doesn't mean actually being reasonable, like using reason. It's actually a slanderous word where someone is confronted with a situation that should not be that way. And instead of acknowledging and recognizing that it shouldn't be that way and doing something to correct it, they come up with all sorts of reasons why it's actually okay. It might be something as sort of simple as, oh, I'm sure someone else is taking care of it. Or I'm sure if it really wasn't supposed to be that way, someone would have done something about it. Or, you know, the fact that it's still there means someone probably approved it. And those are examples of explaining away things that are wrong by giving yourself justifications for why it's right. That's actually the Scientology definition of reasonableness. So after identifying reasonableness stemming from my own lack of responsibility, I did a danger formula on my 3D. 3D we already covered means groups. In this case, it's referring to Scientology. And again, a danger formula, I already referred to it before. I don't want to get into what the actual danger formula is because it'll take the whole video off track. So, out-create the nonsense and noise on my lines. Out-create just means to overcome, basically. So then she goes on. I regged others to buy their next bridge action. Reg means to sell someone something. If you reg someone for their bridge, it means you got them to pay for their bridge. I regged others to buy their next bridge action. I did nothing but gym, eat good food, and train as an auditor. I donated money to become Vanguard with Africa, ideal orgs. I just kept moving and pushing and handling myself until I completed each step. If you're not working, and if all you're doing is gym, eating, and studying on course, how are you donating money? So she's still somehow donating other people's money. Maybe she's got some alimony from her husband that she's just turning right over to the church. So that was the end of her post making her announcement. And here are some photos. Look, I don't want to get too judgy. I don't want to like just be harping on someone, but does this look like a happy, healthy new relationship to you? I mean, they look like they're cousins. They look like they're friends they just met on the playground. Dude, you obviously known this guy for like a week. Like, does the whole idea of just maybe getting to know someone, finding out if you have anything real in common other than the fact that you're both members of Scientology and he checked all your boxes for you, like you've known the guy a week and you're making a relationship announcement. Like, you see, it's very, I don't know, I want to use the word antiseptic. I'm not sure if that's the right word. It's so dry. Anyway, I don't want to go on and on and on, but this is not terribly unusual in the world of Scientology. And also, there may still be those who actually did not know Joy was a Scientologist and mostly knew her through the relatively high-profile status that she had risen to within the GOP circles. I mean, she was actually a pretty regular guest on a lot of the most popular Fox News programs. Like, she's not nobody, but the kind of celebrity that she gained isn't necessarily the kind of celebrity that earns you money. Do you know what I mean? Like, she really got more of a notoriety. She got a name for herself because she was seen as, I guess, a somewhat attractive black woman willing to go out publicly and talk about what a great guy Donald Trump was. I mean, if you ask me, that's the only reason the GOP had anything to do with her whatsoever. She actually tried to disseminate Scientology to some of the higher ups in the administration. There was even, it was either an anecdote or even a video. I swear to God, it was a video of her trying to give Kellyanne Conway one of these a Scientology front group DVDs, and Kellyanne was having none of it. She was visibly irritated. What was my point there? Oh yeah, there may be some of you out there who actually are familiar with Joy Villa, but you think of her as being this high-profile Christian advocate. Well, you'll notice something that she said here. She said, I put everything else as second to my training. So I tweeted at her, I said, Joy, what about Jesus? Did you put Jesus second as well? And I'm still waiting to hear back from her. If she ever gets back to me, I'll let you guys know. I can tell you, she definitely put Jesus second. And I think she puts Jesus third and fourth and all the way in the back of the line, because Joy Villa does not believe in Jesus. Joy Villa is not a Christian. She is a charlatan. And as you can see, she's also a pretty dedicated Scientologist who knows how to use the lingo. Somehow applying the conditions formulas to her second dynamic did not allow her to have a successful marriage, but hopefully she has better luck with her new boyfriend. Well, I hope this has been at least mildly interesting and entertaining. For everyone who watched until the end, thank you very much. Welcome to all the new recent subscribers. I hope you're enjoying this content. And reminder to everybody, my campaign for Clearwater City Council starts next week on September 16th. On Saturday, September 25th, I'm going to be having a campaign launch party here in Clearwater. If you live anywhere in the Clearwater area, or if you think you're going to be in Clearwater, or you think you can make it to Clearwater, and you want to come to the official launch party, send me a message at either growingupinscientology@gmail.com or aaron@dreamrealty.com, and I'll send you the details for the party. All right, everyone, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye. I want to give a big thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Dream Realty. Oh, wait! That's me! I've been a real estate investor for over 20 years. I bought my first investment property when I was 20 years old. For the last 15 years, I've been buying and selling my own properties all over Clearwater and Tampa Bay. If you're looking to buy a home or sell a home and you'd like to work with me, get in touch and I'll get it done for you. Thanks again to everyone who supports this channel, and thank you for watching.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe right here.